Thank you so much for all of your work and all those pictures brought back a lot of memories, many sad, many joyful and happy ones. And after that, I don't know what else we could say. I think the pictures told it all. Some of you may not have known who some of the people were in those pictures, but I thought what we could do here is have each family. By the way, John, it reminds me, I spoke with Jonathan's dad, Bob, the other day, and he wanted me to be sure to give his love to everyone here today. And I told him, I asked him if he could had Skype set up down there. He didn't know what that was. No. But Jonathan, you know, I just got the idea, if you could get him on your cell phone, try, and we'll let him talk into the microphone, and we can all say hi to Bob. Bob was in the hospital and rehab for several weeks. He had a very severe infection in his back, and he had to be on IVs 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon for several weeks.
Riley. Hey, Dad. Good day.
Bob? Yeah, hey, we're all here, and I've got a microphone, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to say something to the family. There are approximately 80, some of us here together. We just had a wonderful dinner, and we saw a tremendous slide film produced by Jeff, going way back with all the family and pictures of all kinds of situations. And we want to say hi to you, and we'll give you an opportunity to say hi to everyone here.
Put you on speaker. Yeah, I'm going to put you on speaker, Dad. Hang on a second. All right, can you hear us?
We can hear. Yep.
Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, you want to talk?
Yeah, go ahead. Talk, sing, whatever. Dance.
Hello, everybody. I know it's a special time to get together, and I really appreciate that. And so, one of these days, we'll maybe all get together. And thanks for Bud Marsh and everybody down there providing this opportunity for you all to be there. And I wish I could be there too. I want to say hi to all of you, and thank you for being part of my family. And I know I've been through a rough ordeal here, 6 weeks in the hospital, but I'm sitting here now just trying to take it easy. In fact, I'm watching Jack Graham on the television here this morning. Margo went to church service, so I'm here by myself. And little Frankie here, Frankie. So this has been a slow morning for me, and I'm slowly coming back. But it's a journey, and I just wish I could be back there with all of you, and wishing you all a blessed weekend. And thank you so much for being together like that. It's so important that we get together. And I know it's a memory of George and John, and I had a little thing about John that I'd like to share with you. George, John, and I were growing up back in Ohio. We were riding a bicycle one time. They said one bicycle. John was pedaling the bike. I was on the handlebars, and George was on the fender in the back. We were riding down this country road, not very far from our house. And this vehicle came by, and John had a cigar in his mouth. And so when the vehicle came by, he took the cigar out of his mouth. And then after it was passed, he put it back in. But he put the wrong end back in. I did it back in. And here we are. I was heading over the bank, heading towards this fence. And finally, I don't know if I jumped off or not, but anyway, we got out of that. But that's my one memory of George and John and myself. We were all three on that bicycle. And so that's a special memory. They were blessed guys, and I really appreciated them. I know you had all be there, and I wish I could be there too. And so, God bless you all. And thank you for being part of my family too. In Christ's name, amen.
Thank you, Bob.
Bye,
Ann said that she will call you. So be sure to answer your phone. Yeah, Ann's right in front of me. Yeah.
I'm glad she's there.
And I'm glad you retold that story about the bicycle. You told that to me last year, and I couldn't remember the detail about John putting the cigar. I didn't know you. I forgot that part of the story, and that was the whole key to it. Well, we had some crazy times. I gotta tell the story about, we used to have a neighbor that had a team of oxen, you know, that would come up the road. Bebout was his name. That was his last name. And so Pete and Dick and Don, they had a young bull there, and they decided they were going to make an oxen out of that young bull. And they built this. I heard this story from Wright Weaver, by the way. You know, Wright used to sit up there on his porch, and he was entertained by all the antics from our family. But Wright said they had put this bull in the pen in the barn and hooked this cart up to it. And Wright said all at once he saw this bull come flying up through the valley, and pretty soon the cart hit the fence and the kids went flying out over the fence. But they survived it like you guys did on the bicycle. There was always something going on. You know, Mom always said she never once heard one of us say that we were bored. We always found something to get into. Hey, does anyone here want to say anything to Bob? You want to say anything? They all said that they missed you and they loved you, and we hope you all, we all hope you get well and continue to recover. Be sure to tell Barb hi too, of course. Yeah.
Thank you all very much.
Ann wants you to have a prayer for us. You're better at doing prayers than I am.
Do what? I didn't hear that.
Ann wants you to have a prayer for us.
Oh, and that prayer for you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
We all need one.
Yeah. Thank you for the special day, and thank you for the special weekend for family members back there at breakfast with Buddy Marsh and the family. And you continue to bless all of us, help us to know that you're important in our lives, Lord. And that's why you sent Jesus into our lives to be our Lord and Savior, to die on the cross. Be resurrected again. So just be with all of us as a special family, united together in you. And that's the gift that we have. We can be someone special with you when we're going through difficult times. Even spending 6 weeks in the hospital, even there, people were there to reach out. Nurses cared for me. And I really appreciated that. And so just be there to care for all of our family members. Bless them richly. And your love and your grace and mercy each day, Lord. I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Bob. You take care now.
We love you, Bob.
You hear that? Okay. We'll talk to you later. We'll give the phone back to John.
Hey, Dad. Love you, Dad.
John.
What's that?
I thought what we might do is spend a little time, if you want, and we'll start from the top and come down, and anyone who's representing that member of the family can stand up and introduce your family members, your friends that are here with you. Okay? Now we know Uncle Pete didn't have any children, so does anyone want to speak on his behalf?
Well, I think he took care of all of us.
Huh?
They took care of all of us.
Yeah.
And Carol
Yeah.
and Pete and Bert took
Yeah.
care of all of us.
Yeah.
children.
They had all of us.
Yeah. Okay, next is Don, and several Don's families here. Carla, you want to be the spokesperson? Donna's going to be the spokesperson.
I don't going to speak. This is Carla, I'm Donna, this is my husband Greg, Mary, her
Forever fiance.
forever fiance, Will, and Carla's husband Chuck. That's us.
They had a big family yesterday at the gathering we had. They had a lot of their family there for that, and they were having a good time. Okay, next, Richard. Matt, you want to speak?
Oh,
Come on.
after all that, I don't know. That was, Jeff, that was great. Thank you very much. I mean, that was fantastic. And I hope we can get something like that for all of us. If we get a copy of that, it'd be great. I don't know if we can put that together, but I sure would like to have one for me. And I don't know, the family has been so important to me. And when I was a kid, I would come down to stay with Grandma and Grandpa, so I was blessed to get to know them so well. And that farm meant everything. I mean, it was just a way of life back then. It was so rich in everything. I was always the happiest when I was on the farm. And I know that Dad, for him, it was so important to come to family at least twice a year. He brought us all down here to be with family. And I think that's still a lot with me. And, just so hard. But I just want to thank everybody, for being a part of my life. For sure, we had some good times down there on the farm and great thoughts and great memories. We raised some hell, and hopefully we'll continue to raise a little more. So.
There's been some of that. Jason, do you want to? Oh, you didn't introduce your wife.
Oh, sorry. And this is my wife, Kristen, and I want to thank her for coming down here and being with me. It's awesome. Wonderful. Thanks.
Well, Rick and Joy didn't want to jump in the car and drive 14 hours. So Justin and I made the trip. I know I spent every bit of the summers down in Ohio, even though I was from Michigan. I can hold it against myself. But it shaped me the way I was. Pete Firth, Buddy Mercer, Tom Penny, Butch and Sherry. It made me who I am. I appreciate that. My grandfather taught me how to work. It was like my parents were divorced when I was a year old, so he just about raised me too. He was that father figure for me. Owe it all to him, and owe it all to all the brothers and sisters.
You've got your little brother here with you. Several years ago, when Dick and Marcia came down and bought the property up there where they ended up fixing it up, Dick worked very hard to fix that place all up, and then he died from cancer shortly after. But Justin was just a little guy then, and I was putting a new roof on their house, and I had Justin up there on the roof with me, and Dick was worried to death about him. He was afraid he was going to fall off, and I had to tell him to just leave him alone. He's fine. If he falls off, it won't hurt him very much. As you can see, he's grown up some since then.
If you ever paint with Kills paint, open the window.
Okay, let me see, Paul. Who's Greg? Mary? I gotta tell a little story with Paul. You know, Paul was a tough little nut. He and Dick went off to college, or actually high school in Fort Wayne. And Dick had a motorcycle, an old Union motorcycle, and the two of them, it's too bad we didn't have a picture of that, Jeff. I think there's some pictures.
I do have a picture of it. I just-
You have, yeah. But they're on this motorcycle, ready to head off to Fort Wayne. And Paul was only 13 or 14 at the time. And I think Dick was probably 16, 15 or 16, not very, but the two of them took all the way up to Fort Wayne on that motorcycle. Anyhow, Paul ended up going to the Marine Corps, and he became a drill instructor down at Paris Island. And he was a spit and shine Marine. When he would come home, he spent all his time polishing his brass with his shoes, and we would always get recruited to help polish the brass, and his shoes had to be, you could see yourself in his shoes. He used to get very upset when he'd be traveling on the bus and see soldiers who were in sloppy uniforms. That really disturbed him. Anyhow, Paul had a disciplinarian kind of attitude as drill instructors have. And one time he was home, and Butch and I were shooting cap guns in the house. And Mom told us to stop doing it. But we didn't listen. We kept shooting. Paul gave us one warning. If you shoot one more time, I'm going to break them up. Well, we dared him. So he took those cap guns out. We had a big hickory nut tree outside the house. We had to watch Paul wham, wham. He slammed those cap guns against the tree and broke them in all little pieces. He probably kept you in mind, Greg. Greg, would you introduce your family members that are here?
Yeah, let Jeff. Hey everybody, I'm Greg. I wasn't always like this. Now this is my wife Mary, daughter Catherine, Luke, and brother Jeff. Any success I've had in life, I owe the bug. I worked up here 3 summers with them and decided that was what I was on. Anything but up here, because I've had the time of my life up here always. Love coming back to see it. Thank you for your help.
We hope we're invited.
Did you introduce Luke? Have your friend? Yeah, okay.
We don't know if he's
We enjoyed a Mother's Weekend.
Okay. Next, I guess, Ann, you're next. No, John. We missed John. My goodness, yes. Yep.
Thanks, Bud. I'm Melinda, John's daughter. I have to say, though, sitting next to Don's family, for those of you that were at the last family reunion, if your numbers are small like my family, we're joining forces. You know, there was the mass of orange of Don's family. And then there was the green with Melinda, Nevada, and Maya, and we were left out of the family photo. Just saying, after 12 hours driving with a baby, nursing, we get to Indiana, and Nevada goes, "Are we ever going to get there?" I'm like, "I don't think so." And then we get to the hotel. My dad didn't put the hotel in our name, but he had a cell phone, but he never turned it on. So I have a distraught mother, a grandbaby screaming, and I said to the guy, "Please let us in. Trust me, I'm his daughter. He has a cell phone, but he doesn't turn it on." And the guy goes, "My dad doesn't turn his on either. You can have the room." So, my daughter Nevada, my grandson Sammy, I don't know if Maya's here. Oh, there she is, sorry. I made her come out for introductions. And Mary and I were talking about when you're old and you have a boyfriend, you spend hours trying to figure out what do you call him. Boyfriend, girlfriend, a partner, then they think, especially my nickname's Mel, so, Mel and Pete. So we've made up the forever fiance. So someday maybe we'll get married. We'll invite you, no presents, just come to Wisconsin. No presents. Oh, presents. Oh, Mary. Mary's going for the presents. Cash or debit, is that what you guys are hoping for? Okay. Sorry, I'm just talking about us. So Pete, and then my grandson Sammy. So, and I want to thank you all. Kirsty, thank you for keeping us together. Sharon and I and Tim were talking about growing up and being the cousins that were in trouble. You guys were the older, cool cousins, so we thought you were always talking about how cool we weren't. And then now we're the old ones too, so I guess we all got old. So anyway, thank you. So now it's Nancy's sister.
You know, speaking of cousins, we've been having a number of guests come, and some of them have been cousins who haven't been in contact for a long time. And we see that happening fairly often now, where cousins come in from all over the country to get reacquainted and to make their friendship again. And
What am I supposed to say? I'm the middle one. I was the only girl. 10 over, I mean 10 over, yeah. 5 older and 5 younger. And there were days where you feel like you just want to go for a long walk back in the woods and not see any of them. And there were a few days like that. Now, it was different when I tell people say, well, how did you manage with that many brothers? I said, well, I remember my grandfather, the Reverend Colmeyer, some of you probably heard of him. I used to, when I was younger, little, before I went to school, I used to go up there and visit with my grandparents in Lancaster. And so then at times George and John, Dave, they would go, they'd be there too, visiting. And they were always teasing me. So my grandfather says, sis, they always call me sis. Don't whine. Just take your fist and hit him right in the belly. And that worked. So some of you little girls, it works. But it was a great life, yes. And then I met my husband and left home and. Oh, I visit. I was back in the summertime. I'd go back and visit Mom and Dad and spend a week or two. It was nice to see everybody again. But things have all changed. You know, they're all sort of going down, but life goes on. I turned 83, and I guess I'm kind of what, the oldest one right now? But I live in a condo up in Grove City. And my daughter, Lori, I was living in the house after they passed away. I was living in the house in Lancaster for 2 years, and a little over a year ago, I fell. And I got up that night, and I went to the bathroom, and I fell. And believe me, if you have both knees removed, replaced, and you try to get up, you can't. It's hard. So fortunately, I had a chair that I used for the cats. I always had cats. And I used for the cats to climb up to look out the window, because I had boxes for them to look out the window in my bedroom. And so finally, I scooted myself over to that chair, and of course, having my shoulders bother me then, like they do now, it was hard. But you know what? I reached out to the good Lord, and believe me, He helped me. If you ever get to that point in life, reach out to the good Lord. Because I sat there and I cried, and I thought the neighbors wouldn't hear me if I hollered, so how do I get up? So I just kept saying, Lord, please help me, please help me. And I grabbed a hold of that chair and I said, help me. And you know what? He did. I finally got up. And then I started trying to see if I could walk. And I did. So I thought, well, okay. So when Lori heard about that, she says, okay, Mom, you got to move up closer to us in Grove City. So she found me a nice condo up there, and that's where I'm living now. So I'm right next, almost next door to Lori and Steve
And the two boys.
and the two grandsons.
Introduce that.
Tyler, stand up, show your face. He's a soccer and a baseball guy. Derek's the one, you know what? The girls all like Derek. He turned 16. And he gets a different one every couple months. No, they're a lot of fun. They come over and visit me. I enjoy having them. So I guess that's all for now.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ann. And next, George. You know, we just lost George here last year. And George was, I think, very special and loved by everyone in the family. There was something about George that made him kind of unique. And Sharon, you're going to be the spokesperson. You've got a big, you've got a big clan here to introduce. So.
Well, thank God for Mark's family, because the rest of George's family sure didn't show up. So, anyways, I'm Sharon, and I came from Idaho, and I left everybody else out there because of the fires, but everything's doing really much better, so maybe they'll make it back sometime this fall. Anyways, Tim was here with his friend, Grace, but they left as soon as the end of the movie, anyways. And then Jo couldn't make it. She lives out in British Columbia, Canada. She wishes everybody well, and she really is kind of feeling a little low, even though she went to the fair with her granddaughter today. So she was having fun. So anyways, she wishes she was here. My family, Jamie and Justin, wish they were here, but they've been back and forth over the last 3 or 4 months, so they couldn't make it. But we've got Mark's family, Kathy, and the whole clan. I'm gonna let Kathy, which actually I gotta tell you, Kathy is my sister. She's our sister of the family. Since Mark's been, it was 30 years ago, September 3rd, just this last week, that Mark kind of took his exit on us. And by the way, when my dad left that day, he died that evening in Sandpoint. We had an earthquake. And we also had a fireball, a meteorite, that hit one of our peaks out there. So we decided that my dad got to heaven, Mom opened up the door and said, "Oh shit." And he took a wrong turn. So we had to pick him back up. So anyways, that's what happened the night my dad died. Anyways, but Kathy and all her kids came, and grandkids.
Let Kathy introduce them.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I have my oldest daughter, Stephanie, who lives in Chicago, and just recently has purchased possibly a condo, so she is going to be a homeowner in Chicago. And only 2 blocks away from where she lives now, so she doesn't have to move far. And then Heather lived in Idaho for many years and met her husband Nathan, and they've been married since 2009, and has 2007. But they have a daughter Riley, who's 8.
There she is.
And there she is. And a daughter Carolina, who is named after Grandma Carol and their Nathan's grandma Ina. So they put Carol and Ina together and created Carolina. And she is going to be 3 on September 30th, which happens to be my birthday too. So she was born on my 55th birthday, so you can do the math and figure out how old I am. And then I have my son Josh, who is here with Yolanda, his fiance, forever fiance. And with their children, Jaden, who's 11. Where is he?
I think they're all over on the dance floor.
Oh, they're in the dance floor. And Makira, she's 5. And then Marquise, the little one, who's 17 months. So anyway, we all got to make it, but we do live closer too. So, but anyway, Heather and Nathan did move to Michigan, and they live just north of where Matt lives in Traverse City, but it's called Kewadin, just north of Elk Rapids. So now they're closer. It's a 3.5-hour drive versus a all-day plane ride to Idaho. So. I do want to tell a story about George when we brought him home for the last time from the hospital. I actually brought him home, and we were in the car, and he was sitting next to me, and he just looked over at me and he said, "Oh," he says, "my Kathy." He always called me Catalina, so I don't know why he called me Kathy that day. And I said, "George, I love you." He says, "I love you too." I said, "You know, you've been," he says, "Was I a good father?" And I said, "George, you were the best father. You were the best father ever." It was just so touching to me for him to say that. Anyway, whoever's next.
Where's Jonathan?
Here we are. Thought my dad said enough. That's the longest he spoke on the phone in a long time. So, yeah, I'm John, Bob's son. I have 2 daughters and a wife down in Texas. Unfortunately, I didn't come by myself. Like Jason, Matt, and they said, this is like spending summers up here was incredible. I mean, there was nothing like it. You know, Grandma and Grandpa and the aunt and uncles just made it so, such a special place. Great memories and learned so much. Did stuff I never thought of, living in the city. Like, did some things I'm surprised to survive sometimes. But yeah, it doesn't take much. Like my daughter's first time they're here, they fell in love with the place. And I got to bring my wife up here once, and she just felt so at home. Because just everybody just takes you in like family. I want to thank all the uncles and everybody, and thanks, Jeff. That was great to see. A little sad for sure. Haven't seen pictures of my mom in a long time. And like Matt said, you're right. She was hot. I love y'all. Tell us about your sisters. What they're doing. Oh yeah, Michelle and Beth. Beth's in New Mexico, and I was hoping Michelle would come up. She spent a lot of time up here with Pete and Bert, but they have quite a bit going on. Michelle's taking care of her mother-in-law, and she died recently. So Beth's in New Mexico, and her husband's working in Virginia, so she travels back and forth quite a bit. So. And they've got great kids. Michelle's had another grandbaby, so they're doing well.
No, which is the older? Which one?
Which?
Don't look.
Which is the biggest fan?
You're so funny. You came first. What's your best?
We have 2 daughters here. They can speak for us better than we can. Well, wait, let's let Bud speak a minute, second.
I just want to give a little introduction to Butch and myself. You know, we were born on Christmas Eve, and back then they didn't have sonograms and all those kind of things. And so I think we were the first to be born in the old hospital here in Logan, Sheridan, yeah. And Butch said he documented that he's the oldest of the two of us. Anyhow, the story goes that the doctor delivered Butch, and he was over cleaning, washing his hands, ready to go home for Christmas. And the nurse said, "You better wait, I think there's another one in here." And that's apparently when I popped out or got pulled out, whatever happened. But I've been giving Butch a rough time. I had a partially rotated colon, and I told Butch I was going to sue him for prenatal damages. He kicked me in the womb, messed up my colon. Anyhow, I'm going to let Butch introduce his family.
Stand up, Butch. Stand up, Butch.
I have to laugh because that's really not true. What happened? A few years ago, we were going to travel. We traveled overseas, so I had to get a passport. And of course, when I was at the courthouse, I worked there for 30-some years. But anyway, I decided, of course, I said, well, I get a copy of our birth certificates, but also, and of course, I told Bud after that, it was 15 years ago, so that all these years I was the kid brother. I always got peed on. No, I was the younger one. But anyway, actually, we were born in the evening on Christmas Eve, like 10:20, something like that, 15, 20 minutes apart. And our birth certificates, it shows you how accurate some of this stuff is, Jeff, when you do genealogy. On the birth certificates, we were born in the morning on the 24th at 10:20 and 10 something within 20 minutes. And it's got me before Bud on the birth certificates. But it's not right, because Mom always said when we were born, she should have, she knew. So, but it was just a few years ago, I met the nurse that named us. She attended a church right at the end of our road. And of course, there were no idea of twins, and so no names. And she said, call them Butch and Bud. So that's how we got our names. So my wife Sharon, and of course we have two daughters, Krista and Melissa, and I'll let them speak. We're glad to see all of you. It's great. It really is. We lost, John and George this year, and what now? 6? There's only 5 of us left. So it's coming down the track.
I don't really want to say a whole lot, but just thank you for planning. I think Labor Day, I was actually over at Sharon and Wayne's and met up with Jamie in Idaho, my first trip into Idaho a year ago this weekend. And Sharon's like, when are we doing the next gathering? When are we doing it? And I said, well, let's look at our schedules and let's talk to Kirsty. And lo and behold, we got on Facebook and Kirsty said, I would love to plan it because I love to plan things. And so thank you so much, Kirsty. It's just been amazing. We need to do this, and I actually heard a rumor that this is going to happen every 2 years. Is that correct? So
Sharon said maybe every year.
What do you guys think?
oh, every year. Okay. For a while. Okay. So we'll have to figure out maybe a good time, or maybe this is a good time. So yeah, let's do that. So back to the hospital story. Marcia's like, oh my gosh. maybe we go to Michigan next time, and we can kind of go back and forth. Idaho. Okay, Idaho is open also. So we can do a progressive Myers party. How about that? I actually want to add a little bit more that Mom told me about the hospital story. So it was the doctor's first delivery in this new hospital. So he was more worried about where the scrubs were and everything else than even delivering the babies. That's what Grandma said. So no wonder he didn't know there was a second one coming. Oh yes, Marcia has a story.
I just found out Ann thought she was getting a baby doll for Christmas.
Oh, So, and she got 2 more boys. Oh, and she got 2 baby dolls. What's better? Okay, I'll pass it over to Melissa. And this is my goddaughter, Madison. I do want to introduce her. My oldest goddaughter.
I'm just going to say, yes, Madison is definitely one of the family. She has been with the Myerses since she was very young. My husband is the actual chauffeur taking Tim to the airport in Lancaster, so David had to depart as well. Our oldest, Isabel, is sitting on Emma's lap there, and she will be 8 here in about a week and a half, I guess, September 16th. And Ellie, our youngest, will be 5 on September 16th. So, like that little story with Sis thinking she was getting a doll, thank goodness Ellie was a girl because Isabel wanted to, what?
Did not want a brother.
Did not want a brother. And since Ellie actually arrived on her birthday, she was gifted her little sister that she wanted. And we hope she continues to like that gift. So, anyhow. This has been, it's so funny because, you know, when you get married and you bring someone into a family that has not been there from the beginning and doesn't know a lot of the stories, and, Mom, you got me crying. You know, how much time I spent with Pete and Bert and many stories with Tom, and I remember sitting in the reclining chair in the apartment with you.
With Tom or about Tom?
All of the above. Because these are my early memories, and with Pete and Bert, and I remember multiple trips to Michigan in the back of the trucks, and the way we used to travel, and I remember Wayne rescuing me from the flood in front of the old homestead, and just so many, I mean, the times that we've spent, and when Jason would come up and babysitting little Justin back in the day, and just, you know, some of us live in closer proximity than others, and we do get to share a little bit more in some of the daily enjoyment of each other's lives and successes and everything going on, but, you know, just constantly coming back, it's definitely family that it's, when we get back together again, it's just immediate. There's no strangeness, no matter who adds on and comes in with a flow, it is a truly welcoming family, so we are blessed.
Thank you. I want to introduce our family. Actually, Butch, the story I got was that the nurse came out with one of us in each hand and said, "This is Butch and this is Bud." And another nurse whom I had the opportunity to meet, Mrs. Lemon, she gave us our real names, and Leonard and Lawrence, too.
Because Grandma ran out of boys'
She
names.
couldn't think of them.
These 2 came along.
Fritz and John?
Huh?
Fritz and John or something? Didn't you have other nicknames at some point?
Oh, probably. We were called a lot of things. You know, we always raised huge gardens. And in a big family, your older siblings become your parents. And they kind of become your bosses and make sure you do everything you're supposed to do. Well, we used to have to spend a lot of time hoeing in the garden. And I remember one time George and Bob were there. They were our taskmasters. And Butch and I were back there hoeing, and we decided we didn't want to hoe anymore. So when they weren't looking, we took off running to the house. Well, that was a big mistake because our rear ends got bounced all the way back to the garden, and a hoe put in our hands. We didn't get away. We've got Phil and Tonya and their 2 children. Emma, can you all, Phil, stand up? And Tonya and Tristan and Emma. And they live over the hill from where we are, and Emma's been practicing cross country. She'll run all the way from their house over to our house. And here the other week she kicked a soccer ball all the way from there and picked Grandma a bouquet of flowers on her way. But they've become quite the soccer and track stars. And then Gwen and Mike and their 2 boys. Gwen, Mike, would you stand up? And Michael and Colin. They live up in Worthington, and they're involved. Colin's a tennis and golfer, and Michael's a cross-country runner and also plays soccer. So And then Kathy and her family, we've got Kirsty here with us, and her husband Brian. Kathy and the rest of them were down yesterday having fun with everyone. Okay, now, Tom, your turn. You've got a big plan.
Anyway, as you all know, I was a little older when I got married, right? 34. I had a terrible, rough, I was really not looking for the right woman. And I found the great one. And he's saying, she's been a sweetheart. Put up, as you all know, put up with me. Stand up, honey. Come on. With 4 children. Had a built-in family.
I just have to say, I came into this family late, but I have to give Grandma and Grandpa Myers credit for how dapper all those kids looked in every picture. I mean, they had money, but they were dressed to the 10 in every picture. So we all know how impossible that is. He must have been born in a tux because he always had on this white tie.
That's kind of what happened to me. I go in the opposite direction now. I got some good ones about some of you nephews and nieces leading me astray. Anyway, our oldest daughter, Mindy, is here. Kylie is with her. The other 3 are 4. College, Abby's in college, Kai's here. Keegan's working the pizza crossing, and he made the pizza yesterday. No, he was out. He was sick yesterday. That's why he was at our reunion. He was supposed to be working. I won't tell you about it. And Jamie was here. She left. She went to go get coal. They're coming back. They had so much fun. They're coming back out to the farm again. Miss Grayson's here. Brian's running around. And Bob is here. His little boy is running Ollie. And here's Ashy. And Bob's friend Sarah's here. Jimmy was here.
But he had to leave to take a nap.
He went home. He spent the night in the Red Bud, was it? Yeah. He was kidding. He said, "This has been the best reunion we've ever had." And I said, "How did you remember it?" He said, "Well, I did till I got down to the Red Bud." So this morning we kind of got them up. They were all looking pretty damper, bright-eyed and perky. Anyway, speaking about Jeff, that was a fantastic job. You've done this unbelievable. Brought a lot of tears, buddy. Brought a lot of tears, but a lot of happiness too. Man, there was a little. Thank God when I was in the Marine Corps that nothing did happen to Brother Paul and Mary, because they gave this kind of a shocker to me one time. They said, if anything ever happens to us, we kind of let you bless you with our 5 kids. God only knows. I said, I'm glad you love me, brother. Just because I used to steal things from the... No, I didn't. I borrowed them to bring out to the treehouse we had. Poor Paul would say, oh my God, Tom, I'll lose my pension. I'll lose my retirement. I said, well, it's just stuff we were going to throw away anyway. But these kids, oh God, when Brother Paul, he had some... I was stationed there in the same area. Thank God I was in the air wing. I wasn't with the grunts. But I had the honor of going out and babysitting with these guys. Holy crap. John and Greg, you know, I thought I was a dummy that they would come in and
faces were white. Of course, you could smell. They were out behind the little shed smoking. No big deal. But they would say they could stay up. I said, I don't care if you stay up late as you want to. You're going to get up early. No, they were a lot of fun. And going up to Michigan, oh, God only knows that I had fun up there a lot of times. Poor George and Carol one night, dude. Unfortunately, they were sitting out on the deck waiting for us. And I think Tim and Mark had something to do, and you were in on that, Sharon. What was the farm we went to? We had a big wiener roast.
Oh, that was out at, what's his name?
Well, anyway, there was a little bit of liquid booze floating around, and then that stuff that, you know, you... I never inhaled. I was trying it out. Hey, we all got home feeling pretty good. Oh my Lord, did I hear about that one? So you guys have, you know, I wasn't a bad influence on you guys. You guys kind of helped me out. But it's been, like I said, last couple of years, or well, 6 months, it's been a rough time. I'm going to tear up a little bit, but God bless him. I love John. He was the sweetest person to take care of and be with. When he had a smile in that picture, it was an honest smile. You never saw him with what he went through in life. He was one hell of a person, one good Marine, and all the family, Mark and all of them. It's been, you know, we had a lot of fun, but it's part of life, though. Part of birth, it's part of dying too. But as someone said a while back, said, "You're 69, my God, and you're the youngest in the family." I said, "Yeah, but there's been a few passed away, but there's a lot to carry on. So we'll have family to carry on for life." So thank you very much. And we are going to have the slide going right later. The water slide is going to be functioning. We cleaned out the tank. It was a little grubby this morning. Heather was helping and Sharon. It was a little dirty, but it's... Oh, did you? Well, we figured it'd take all day to fill up, but it didn't take that long. Okay, here you go. Oh, it's not, yeah.